Thank you for watching Home TV. This is an election interview. I'm Brandie Yates, and joining me in studio is Dennis Laidler, the Education Curator for Potter Park Zoo. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
So the presidential primary election, March 10th, is just around the corner, and there's some local proposals on the ballot, including a millage for the Potter Park Zoo. So can you just explain the millage and kind of the history and how it relates to the zoo?
Sure. Beginning in 2006, there was an Ingham County-wide millage to support Potter Park Zoo. That's also the year that Ingham County began management, the day-to-day management of the zoo. Prior to that, it was managed by the city of Lansing.
Okay.
And so we've had 3 millage votes and renewals since then, and this will be the first time we've asked for an increase. It's a very small increase. You know, typically we look at how it would change for a house valued at $100,000, so for consistency. So if it would be like an increase of just $4.50 for a house valued at $100,000. So it's a fairly small increase, but what it would allow us to do is, the millages have made a big difference. I've been at the zoo for several years before the millages and all the way through, and what's it allowed us to do is increase the quality of a lot of the exhibits and make sure that we maintained a lot of the infrastructure. But this is our centennial. We're 100 years old this year, and some of our buildings are 60 to 70 years old. And so what the millage has done, it covers the day-to-day operations of the zoo, but it doesn't let us do some of those infrastructure upgrades that we need to make sure the zoo is safe and everything for all the animals. But we want to make sure, like, the pathways need to be replaced. You know, we can get donors and we have campaigns to raise money for certain things, but nobody wants to donate to a new roof or a new boiler, those kinds of things that are infrastructure behind the scenes, but are an important part of us being able to maintain. And we're very proud of how the zoo has evolved and how popular it is. And you know, we're accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquarium. It's the highest accreditation you can have for a zoo and aquarium. And be able to maintain that accreditation, we need to make sure that we continue to maintain that aging infrastructure.
Okay, and you touched on it a little bit. So what is the actual, like, the ballot language? Sometimes when people see their ballot, the language could be confusing depending on which one you're looking at. Is there any specifics you want to say to point out about the language itself?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. To be honest, I couldn't tell you, quote, what the language.
Of course.
If you see the word Potter Park Zoo, then that's the millage item that
and it isn't just a renewal, it's a renewal increase.
It's a renewal and a slight increase, yes.
Okay.
And so we've had tremendous support before. I think last go round it was like over 75% positive as far as the yes votes for that. So I've always had great community support, and we have continued to expand our community programs. We have programs that go to underserved populations throughout the county, and we continue to do programs like that. Won a national award for diversity and inclusivity this last fall. In the past, we've won national awards for education programs that we do at the zoo, and those continue.
Okay. And you said the operation costs and kind of the infrastructure changes. Anything else the funds will go towards or have gone towards in the past? Yeah, so the day-to-day operations of the zoo, you know, we have 30 to 40 full-time employees, and during the summer season when it's really busy, it goes up to about 100 with the seasonal employees. Wow, okay.
So and that's the other thing. The zoo is an economic driver in some areas, because most of our services we contract locally and stuff, and you know, obviously we have a lot of employees, so there's that part of returning back to the community. But we have pathways throughout the zoo that, like I said, that need to be replaced. We need to continue working towards things like upgrading some of the exhibits. Our penguin exhibit is, you know, 35 or 40 years old. The lion exhibit is eventually going to need to be replaced, and a few things like that we need to continue to be able to do.
Okay. And what do you think the future of the zoo holds? I know there's some exciting news that have come to the zoo, and with this millage renewal, what do you wish to accomplish in the future of it?
Well, I guess really what we want to do is continue the trajectory that we're on, as far as continuing to be, you know, zoos have evolved from, originally they were menageries, and then they were zoological gardens, and modern zoos, especially the accredited ones like ours, are centers of conservation education. And so we'll continue to do our endangered species work. We'll continue to do top-level education programs. We'll continue to increase our diversity inclusion and continue to do the research and science-based things that we do to increase not only the conservation of the species that we have. We cooperate with a lot of universities, especially Michigan State, but others too, in research projects. The reason we're able to get a baby rhino born is because we've been participating in rhino reproductive research projects.
Okay, and why do you think this millage is important? You said you've had a lot of community support over the years. Why do you think it's important to the greater Lansing area and kind of beyond?
Well, when zoos are incredibly popular, when you look at, they have statistics on accredited zoos. Here in the United States, it turns out if you added up all the attendance by the 4 major pro sports, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL, all their total attendance for annually doesn't quite reach what it does for zoos and aquarium annual attendance.
Oh, that's incredible.
So that's just kind of a nice contextual way to show how popular there are. And when you look at, when it comes to placemaking, we've been around 100 years. Want to be around for at least 100 more. But when, we're host to some corporations' major headquarters here, and when they're looking at attracting talent, things like zoos and other cultural institutions are very important as part of their quality of life, and when it comes to placemaking, we're a part of that.
Okay. Anything else you think the voters or residents watching need to know about Powder Park Zoo and this millage, or just moving forward?
Well, I'll remind them that we're open every day but Christmas, so not all zoos are open that much. So come visit the zoo in the wintertime too. You'll see some animals that are more active in the wintertime when it's not so hot. And of course, keep watching social media. Everybody wants to know about the baby rhino,
Yes.
and about the baby otters that were just born, and we have a few other animals that are expecting, so it's going to be a very busy centennial year. We have, starting in mid-May, every one of the weekends through the summer, we'll have special themed tying back to our centennial celebration.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in to talk about this. I'm sure we'll be following up with some more stories and interviews in the future.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.